Hello everybody, Kaito here, and today I will tell you why we in the West deserve a new Dragon Quest Monsters, and also why this series is not like Pokémon. First of all, yes, it looks like there is a new Dragon Quest Monsters in development with the younger Eric and his sister Mia as main characters from Dragon Quest XI. But that's the only information what we have so far. The last real Dragon Quest Monsters was Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 3, which came out in March 2016 for the 3DS, and was Japan only. And the last real Dragon Quest Monsters game outside of Japan was Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 2, which came out in 2011 for Europe and America, and it was for the Nintendo DS handheld. But all these games were somehow totally different compared to Pokémon. Let's start with the facts here. When did that monster taming begin? The answer is that the real monster taming didn't begin in Dragon Quest Monsters titles. No, the first title where you could tame monsters in Dragon Quest was in Dragon Quest V for the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom in Japan, which came out in September 1992 in Japan, 4 years before the very first Pokémon games has been released. But the concept of monster taming in Dragon Quest V was so fantastic and the people loved it that they made an own series out of it. The first Dragon Quest Monsters came out 1999 for the Game Boy Color and featured a young Terry from Dragon Quest VI as main character. But now enough with numbers and facts. Let us drive through how this game is different compared to Pokémon. Well, the very first Dragon Quest Monsters got a breeding system. This was indeed similar to the breeding system from Pokémon Gold and Silver, but both games came out in the same year. Pretty hard to see which was first, and maybe teams behind both games shared some ideas with each other behind the curtain, who knows? However, later in the series, when the first Dragon Quest Monsters Joker came out, the system changed from breeding to synthesize, which means you are more or less fusing monsters to get out a more powerful and stronger monster. The monsters in Dragon Quest Monsters are not evolving. Not like in Pokémon, monsters are only getting stronger by leveling up. They are not evolving if you bring them to a certain level or if you give them certain items. As mentioned before, you can only get a new monster if you synthesize two monsters with each other. Monsters are not male or female since Joker. They made them plus and minus, and very rare plus-minus monster, which can synthesize with a plus and a minus monster. But this is the only way to get a newer and stronger monster. Monsters are having a plus level and ranks. Fans from the Pokémon series made some tier lists of the strongest monsters. But in Dragon Quest Monsters, you can plus your monster. The more often you synthesize, the more plus it will get. And if you synthesize certain monsters to make a stronger one, you get a new ranked monster, which is in a more stronger and powerful class. This series is more Dragon Quest than Monsters. So, what do I mean with that? Yes, you get monsters, but you are not catching them. You are showing the monsters how strong you are, and the result of that is that a monster wants to join you. Or maybe not want to join you. However, how the game feels and how the game is played feels more like a typical Dragon Quest game. You have talent points for your monsters, which is giving your monster more abilities, skills, and even passive effects. Pokémon does not have this sort of system. Monsters can also attack normally, but in Pokémon you need to use certain moves. Dragon Quest Monsters is drifting into a complete different way if you see the gameplay. You are only having 3 monsters in your team. Indeed, you can only have 3 monsters in your team, and as enemies there is also only a maximum from 3 monsters. Expectations are existing if you use really big monsters. So you probably could guess where this all leads. Pokémon didn't really invented this system. And no, this is not meant as hate for Pokémon. You can like both, or you can dislike both. I don't care. But many people are taking us away the possibilities to get a new Dragon Quest Monsters game. But how? Mostly reviews. I cannot tell how often I have read that Dragon Quest Monster Joker 2 is a copy of Pokémon, even if that is not true and the facts are totally wrong. Let's just despite the fact that Dragon Quest got the monster taming system before Pokémon. We are not like that. Pokémon are still doing things differently, and that's totally fine. The point of this here is Square Enix. The Dragon Quest fanbase is strong, very strong. They would take a new one, no matter what. I think many people of the fanbase wouldn't listen to reviews which are completely uninformed. It doesn't matter how you look at it. You can like both, but the Monster series is not a ripoff from Pokémon. You can Google all the facts if you want to. The point here is that if you guys over there at Square Enix headquarters are doing a new Dragon Quest Monsters game, no matter which one, please do not forget about us here in the West. Cause you really are having fans here too, and Dragon Quest can be as strong as Pokémon and Final Fantasy together. Think about that. I could tell you now much more about all this topic, but this would burst out the video length probably. Which means, I say thank you everybody so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe so I can grow, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye and see you soon!